Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother Basics Season 2. My name's Jacob Harple, and joining with me is the always fantastic, always fabulous Keith Guerrero. Keith, how are you doing today?
I'm quaint, thank you.
Also joining us is the always erratic, always ecstatic Aaron Nunley. How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm so ecstatic.
And finally, also joining us is the super, the duper, Joe Gonzalez. Joe, how are you doing on this fine evening?
I'm great, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming to our apartment.
And projecting your voice.
And for projecting your voice. Alright guys, brand new season, Season 2, here we are, Week 1. There's a lot to talk about. We want to break down the twist, how the first HOH reign went, who went home, kind of what's going on right now. But Keith, so far, how are you feeling about this cast and what they're bringing to the game?
I really like that the cast is diverse in terms of not knowing each other pre-game. It's very rare you get to see an online reality game where it's like that. But yeah, it seems really basic, which was what I wanted. I get people that want to play the game and some brand new folks. I feel like Rob and Cass bringing in people in the game that have no idea what they're doing, and the fans are frustrated while they're watching. But you know, it's what brings the ratings up.
Of course, and that's why we're here, for the ratings. Yeah.
There's always flies on the wall.
God damn it. Alright, so before we kind of talk about the HOH and what happened with that whole twist, the first twist I want to talk about is the twist of the Saboteur. So, Joe, how do you feel about Kirsten as a Saboteur and kind of how she's playing that role in the house?
Well, throughout this first week, it was very clear and apparent that Kirsten is here to play. She's really excited to be part of the twist. She's really eager to get her handsome reward. She's very much a go-getter in terms of this twist. I don't think anyone suspects her just yet throughout the week. Like, you know, it's still relatively early, but she's played well so far, and I just hope that her arrogance doesn't get the best of her.
You think she's arrogant?
A little.
I think it's like that thin line between confidence and arrogance. Like, I think she's just getting really close there, but you like the confidence in a Saboteur. Like, go get him.
Do you think being a Saboteur is... How should I form this question? Do you think that Kirsten being a Saboteur means there's no way she can win the game, or do you think, from what you've seen from her so far, that she can play the twist out to eventually win the game? Aaron?
I think she has the ability to win the game.
Yeah.
Keith had to pick somebody, and there are certain people in this cast where if he had picked them, there's no way they would have won. Like, there's just no way they could have juggled it. I think for right now, she's knowing how to juggle being the Saboteur and doing her missions, and also being a social house guest. So I think she can put it all together as long as she stays focused and doesn't get too crazy or too arrogant.
Yeah. Keith, let's talk about the Saboteur twist, because I want to know what led you to come up with the idea of having the Saboteur twist being the twist for Season 2, and then also what kind of led you to choosing Kirsten as the season Saboteur.
So, I didn't want to be predictably basic. Like, I wanted there to be some sort of surprise for the cast. This might have been too big of a surprise, even though the Saboteur is just there to, you know, ruffle some feathers. But I wanted to bring in somebody that I think could handle, like, causing some paranoia and mayhem. And honestly, I didn't care if the Saboteur was a flop twist or if it was a good twist. But the way I selected was based on the question in their interview, would you open a Pandora's box? There were certain people that said yes and no. No's were eliminated. Like, I need somebody that's willing to take a risk. And then I also provided in the questionnaire for them to leave an optional space for their mailing address, and that was simply because that's how we're going to send them their prize, the handsome reward, which is a Diamond Power Veto.
Oh, wow.
Shocker.
That's pretty
Why
handsome.
wasn't I told about this?
Handsome reward.
That's an attractive reward.
So the people that supplied their addresses, that's kind of narrowed the pool even more. And so for me, I didn't want anybody that I knew prior to the game, like as a friend, to receive the reward. It's kind of like a prize if you work at a radio or television station. It has to be somebody that's not integrated or have a relationship with the studio at all, or else you can get some litigation on your hands. So for me, it was between Kirsten, Patrick, I guess it would be Ryan, and then Katie.
Yes.
And that's a pretty good list now that I know what these players are bringing to the game. But the reason why I chose Kirsten, and I was so hesitant because I thought that Kirsten could like dominate this game without the twist, and she doesn't need a DPOV to go far. It was a lot of back and forth, but the reason why I selected Kirsten is because I feel like she would accept the task. Like in her interview, she was very enthusiastic about dominating the game. Her favorite players were Danielle Reyes, and like she's really about that female empowerment, like reward the women that do well in this game. And I kind of wanted to see if she would have that enthusiasm and energy and drive as a saboteur. And she wasn't aware that she was cast to be the saboteur, like in the game. It wasn't revealed to her until she was already in the house, and then she received a message on Skype, hey, important message, meet with production ASAP. Like, this was after 2 hours of socializing, and you've been selected to be a part of a twist. So she could have said no. She could have been like, oh, I don't want to, do the saboteur twist, and then we would have just, all right, no saboteur twist this season. But she was so excited to be selected to be a part of the twist, and you can't ask anything more as a production member to when you give somebody a challenge and they rise to it. And then throughout the week, she kept us very informed. She's owning it to a T. She knows what the saboteur twist is meant to be, and it's to be something where it's secret, and she's not going to like say anything about her identity to advance her game. The closest allies have no idea that she's a saboteur. Her worst enemies have no idea that she's a saboteur. She has her hands in every pot in the game, and it's a pleasure to watch. And in my opinion, Kirsten was one of the stars week one. It was so fun just seeing her do her task and her thought processes and how she's navigating being a saboteur and being a player of the game and how to be not suspicious. She's definitely a thinker, and she held us by the hand throughout this whole entire week. So
Sure.
Thank you so much, Kirsten.
Yeah, no, Kirsten's been a lot of fun so far. I agree with that. So let's kind of talk about the HOH. So for the HOH competition, they were split into 2 teams of 6. One team dominated the challenge pretty strongly, and it ended up being Patrick being selected to be the HOH through a random selection of envelopes. Now, before the envelopes were opened and the HOH was revealed, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed to be like this mentality that the teams were gonna stick together, or at least the winning team was. Joe, were you surprised that the nominations that Patrick made were heavily influenced by the people that was on his team, and that there was really no question that he was going to target anyone in that team? Do you surprised that they stuck to those guns, even though those teams were really only a thing for one night?
Well, Patrick is a smart player, and he knows that he doesn't need to piss off half the house week one by not, granting him safety is the first part, but by him offering that branch of what should we do, it's a team effort, he's gonna be pretty safe if the people on his team, continue to win competitions. So I think he did the right move. May not have been the most flashy move, but I think it was the right move for him.
Cool. And what did you think of Patrick's HOH reign as a whole?
I'm always the devil's advocate, and I think that it could have been better. I mean, Cameron is definitely a talker in the sense of just he likes to talk, and he's one of those people that you probably like, you love or you hate, like just instantly. So we didn't get a lot of love, but I feel like even though Riel was on their team, she was not there. Therefore, it could have been an easier week, like an even low-key'r week, to put up Riel. Still give everyone safety that you promised safety, because Riel was not there. She was never technically promised safety. And it also would have stopped a pink versus yellow, because people are going to start getting that mentality of like, all of them stay together, maybe we should all stay together, which you don't need, especially week one. You don't need to divide the house like that. So it was a successful reign, because he got someone out, but I don't feel like it was I don't know, the best move ever.
Keith, Keith, were you surprised at the nominations? Like, were you surprised that it was Cameron and Sam who were sitting on the block together?
Sorry, hold on. A lot of our house guests are requesting Google Hangouts this season, and you need to find out what's going to be used for the episodes and what's not. I don't need to record everything. Anyways, whenever we were talking,
recording yourself.
What are we? What was the question again? It was about
What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, the noms of Sam.
Yeah. Like, are you surprised that?
No, I wasn't surprised after he limited his pool to those 6 players because Cameron is a hot mess, here to have fun and exposing himself in the chat, very public,
Like
conversation.
literally exposing himself?
There was some talk about him being no, I'm kidding. But then
Really one of those votes.
there was also Sam, who only basically shows up for the 10 p.m. Eastern commitments and doesn't really know about the social aspect of the game, doesn't even know about the game of Big Brother generally. And so I wasn't surprised that it was those 2. Patrick had good relationships with basically everybody in the house, so him having to nominate 2 people in itself was a struggle.
Yeah.
The reason why he didn't nominate Riel is because him, Riel, Jason, and Kirsten were all on the call the second night, and they really enjoyed each other. I think Ryan was there too, and Ryan and Riel love each other, and I think there's a foursome made between Patrick, Riel, Ryan, and Kirsten, and Patrick loves his goats, so he just wanted to have somebody that was like a guaranteed vote whenever he was just like, just vote this person out, and she would say yes.
So guaranteed.
So guaranteed. And I don't even consider Riel a goat because she wasn't even there during the eviction. How can you depend on someone's vote if they're not there for the eviction ceremony,
Right.
or there for a veto competition, or there for a nomination ceremony, or there for a veto ceremony?
They can't even show up.
So, I don't know. I would never depend on somebody who missed that many commitments. But it's Patrick's HOA train, and if he figured that Riel was going to get expelled, might as well get another player out of the way too. Like, I think that's his mentality as being like an experienced org player, to narrow the pool down. Like, there's only 12 people here, might as well get somebody out that could be a threat in my game later, and he chose Cameron.
If he says that in DR,
Then it's okay, but
for now,
Yeah.
he didn't do that, so you're not that good.
So let's kind of fast forward through veto because I feel like it was pretty uneventful. Jason won the veto. It wasn't used. Ryan won the veto.
We don't know these houses.
That's right. Ryan won the veto. Yeah. And it wasn't used. So, Joe, let's talk about the targeting of Cameron, because it felt like things were kind of up in the air, and people didn't really want this thing or this thing, and Kirsten, took her saboteur mission and kind of went all or nothing with it, because she was only supposed to get Cameron on the block. She didn't necessarily need to get him evicted, so. But she was like, if there's bonus points, I'm going for it. Do you think that was kind of a too aggressive of a move for Kirsten, or do you think it was just kind of her, getting what she wanted?
Well, I think that Kirsten is going to benefit from the fact that there are people that liked Sam and there are people that also liked Cameron. So there wasn't anything like, oh, it wasn't clearly going to be Sam or clearly going to be Cameron. So with her trying to push for Cameron to go and Sam to stay, it wasn't the fishiest thing that could happen throughout the week. You can go through like Katie's DRs where she says she really likes Sam, but she feels a little closer to Cameron, but she's okay with Cameron going. So it's like, okay, well, like these people they've got options, and Kirsten kind of just nudged them that way. And it was a unanimous nudge.
It was a unanimous nudge. That's the thing.
But that is a big thing. I don't think it's gonna hurt her game that she tried so hard to get Cameron out, because Cameron is also a very vocal player too.
Yeah.
So he kind of, in a sense, she dug his grave and he helped.
Yeah.
They did it together.
They did it together.
Nice
Teamwork.
Aaron, let's kind of talk about just Cameron being evicted. Do you think that the house sent him do you think they made the right decision?
I don't know.
I would say so. Just because Cameron's, an experienced player.
But he got evicted week 1, so
Yeah. Well, I didn't
how
say it
good
was a
could
good
you be?
experience.
And Sam isn't the strongest competitor or the strongest social player. I mean, she did do
She did well in the challenges, yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that week 1 was very up in the air. You have two different types of people. Sam's not going to be here to socialize, so she's not going to be here to be a number for people that are socializing all the time.
Yeah.
Cameron is talking, probably talking to everybody, and won't stop talking, so he might just tell everyone everything that he's ever told. And
It's true. I definitely think that if Sam is a swing vote at any point, and there's someone on the block that she's talked to and someone she doesn't really talk to, she's not really going to go out of her way to talk to that person and find out if it's really the best move for her. It's going to be more social in that regard for her.
For sure. Keith, who is the better player, Riel or Marie?
It's, oh my gosh, it's rinse and repeat. It's so fun to have like the same thing happen. That's the risk you take, with bringing in new players like Riel, but it didn't work out. The schedules didn't work out, and we expelled her. So,
please answer the question. Who's the better player?
well, Marie at least provided confessional, so I'd have to give Marie.
Marie gave us some of the best sound bites I think the
That's
series
true.
might ever see.
It's not my time to leave.
It's not my time to leave.
Except it is.
Ignorance. Okay, so just to kind of wrap out, to wrap up the week, I want to go through everyone's thoughts on who they think is playing the best game right now, or who they're rooting for. It could be either or. So I just kind of want to hear your thoughts on really who is at the forefront of this game. So Keith, I'd like to get your thoughts first.
Well, I already know some things that are happening in the second week, so that's affecting my decision. But initially, I thought Patrick was in a trouble position once he got HOH, which is why I was excited. But he navigated the lines very well, and I think that he's going into week 2 very strong. So I'd give it to Patrick.
Mm-hmm. Joe, what about you?
I think players to watch for doing well are Jermaine and Katie, mostly because when you're watching these confessionals, everyone says they like them. Haven't really heard much negativity towards them, so they're in a good spot. Nobody's going to be targeting them this early.
Mm-hmm. And Aaron, what do you think?
Just from a first week perspective, I'd probably say Jason, just because as the first week goes, very low key, and I'm all about people who are low key in the beginning. You can be a hot mess in week 3, week 4, but in the first week, you lay low. No one's coming after you. That's how you make it through these weeks. And when people getting expelled and evicted, that's very precious. So,
do you think he's gonna bond well? I haven't seen as much connection as I have from other people. They like him, but I don't see.
This cast is difficult.
Yeah.
And personally, I feel like if I were in this cast, I would be out the door with Cameron, because there's a lot of different personalities, which I wouldn't fit in any of the categories. So.
Different personalities and different activity levels.
Yeah, I just
people that I could bond with aren't around. People that are here already bonded with other people. So.
I genuinely feel like the winner is either going to be Katie, Jermaine, Patrick, or Kirsten. I think it's going to be one of those 4 people.
And it's already easy to tell week 1.
Maybe throw Ryan in there. I would throw
They're
Ryan
your
in there.
all-stars for Big Brother Week 2.
I would throw Ryan. Yeah, I take that back. I would throw Ryan in there. I think out of the 10 people that are left, one of those 5 are 100% winning the game. I'm calling it right now.
You can't call half the house as winning the game.
I mean, I will say this, that I am very disappointed on the activity level of some of these house guests.
Yeah,
I have no idea who Mike is. Jason, I barely know. Will, depending on how this HOH ring goes, and if he does something with it, I think will determine a lot. Blair, I really like. I think I don't think he's really grabbing the social aspect of the game very well.
It's true, but he did.
Sam.
Yeah,
And then Sam, I enjoy so much, but I just feel like she's dead man walking this week. For week 2.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder why it's okay for people like Mike to be inactive, but then when Sam's inactive, it's not okay. It's very interesting how those dynamics
We'll
work,
save that for
right?
next week, because I'll go in next week.
We'll go in next week. Okay, we'll save it. But the week 2 HOH competition did happen during week 1's eviction, so I think we could talk that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to.
If you want to.
So basically, the final 2 was Sam and Willie, and I don't know about you guys, but I was so hardcore rooting for Sam HOH reign. Just nothing against Willie, but I think I love it. I love it when people go from on the block to HOH.
Yeah.
It would have been such a great dynamic. We would have seen,
Lots of people
she
trying
would
to
not
get-
have been pulled any punches. It would have been great to see that side of her. So I was really disappointed that we didn't get that.
Yeah.
I also feel like Willie, I don't know, like, I don't want to say he doesn't have a personality, but I didn't see a personality last week because all he wanted was immunity for his birthday, so he's just kind of like, okay, I got that, thanks, and then now he's HOH, and I just hope he does something not boring. Sorry.
We'll find out next week.
Okay, so definitely. All right, how about this? Patrick,
Stop.
Right.
Ryan, or Jermaine. One of those three will win the game.
Okay.
One of those three will win the game.
I would throw Katie in there. Katie's my top 3 on MySpace.
It was a hard cut for me.
Yeah.
So predictions on who we think is leaving in week 2 with Willie HOH. Who do we think the main target is going to be? We kind of said, but I want to know if you guys actually, think that Sam's in trouble. So Keith, what do you think?
I think Sam's definitely in trouble. For some reason, Willie thinks Sam is the saboteur, but I think her reactions are so genuinely, like, it's genuine in that she didn't even realize there's a saboteur twist
Yeah, that's
in the
probably,
week 1 eviction.
I love that. That was so funny.
She's like, wait, there's a saboteur in the house? I don't think a saboteur would act like they didn't know.
They
Yeah.
wouldn't be that obvious.
They really wouldn't. And the fact, well, getting into this week 2, I'm sorry. I'm done.
I really liked when, after that first eviction, when Sam goes, I don't know what her conclusion was. She just immediately said, well, the saboteur is obviously not one of the girls. I'm like, why? Why do you think that, Sam? There was nothing.
Because the
during week-
saboteur said in Kirsten, duh.
All right. But peace, love is great. Love it.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to touch on?
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to stay tuned for more BB Basics Season 2 news. And don't forget, stay basic.